Hello everyone. For this video, we're going to briefly talk about the body and then focus on transitions. So we're not going to spend too much time talking about the body. In the body, we should already have a pretty good understanding from our writing semester. However, when you make a presentation, just like in writing, we want to focus on the rule of three. Usually you want to have three main supporting details for your main topic, not seven. If you talk about your 7 favorite teams or 7 favorite players, we're going to start to get confused. So what you really want to do is focus on 3 things and then give good details supporting those 3 things. Please remember to try to put everything in a logical order. Now, sometimes it's true, it doesn't really matter too much, but sometimes it's very important and it makes it easier for the audience to understand. And any little thing to help the audience understand can make it a better presentation. Let's look at this simple example. Maybe your topic is dogs make great pets, and you thought of your 3 main supporting details. They're fun, they're loyal, and they protect you, and that's what makes them great pets. However, maybe there's some little bit of different information you want to give to the audience that doesn't actually fall under one of these categories. Like for example, maybe you want to give a little bit of history about how dogs became domesticated, something very short. If you want to do this, you can actually do this in your introduction. So in the introduction, the first step is the greet, then the hook, then your topic, and then the 4th step is the reason. So after the reason, you can give maybe a little bit of background information, like the history or something like that. That goes straight into your guide, and then after that, you can start your body for your presentation. The second half of this video is about transitions. Transitions are extremely important for presentations. They're important for writing also. But in a presentation, the audience only has one chance to hear that you have gone on to the next topic. So your transitions have to be very clear to the audience. Let's just go ahead and look at a few different examples. So if you're introducing a main supporting idea, maybe you can start with, let's begin by, I like to start by, first of all, starting with, I'll begin by. Something like this lets us know that you have finished your introduction and you're starting your first main point. When you're at the end of your first main point, or second main point, third main point, you might want to think of one of these phrases. Something like, well, I've told you about, that's all I have to say about, we've looked at, now you should have a clear idea about. Something like this tells us that you have finished talking about that topic and you're about to move on to the next one. Let's say, for example, you just finished your first main idea and you want to move on to your second main idea. When you do that, maybe you can say one of these phrases. Now we'll move on to, let me now turn to, turning to, I like now to discuss, let's look now at. This again is a very long transition, which makes it easy for the audience to hear and understand. So let's look at how we can use these together now. Say for example, I work for Hyundai and I'm talking about car sales in different places around the world. If I'm finishing one, I might say that I've told you about car sales in Europe. Now we'll move on to car sales in Asia. This tells the audience very directly that we have finished talking about one thing and now I'm going to start to talk about something else. You can choose any type of finishing and starting phrases that you like. I can say, for example, we've looked at car sales in Europe. Next, I'm going to explain to you car sales in Asia. Something like this again makes it very clear to the audience. One thing that you might want to consider is using past and future tense. So for example, when you're finishing one part, you can say I have explained or I've talked about using a past tense. Then when you're about to start your next main supporting idea, you can use a future tense. Now I will discuss or I'm going to tell you. Something like this again makes it easier for the audience to understand. So in this example, it says, I have explained how Korea's geographical location make it an important place in the world. Now, I will discuss how Korea's economy makes it a vital economic component in today's global business world. This is, again, easy for the audience to understand. So with transitions, remember in a presentation, we only have one chance to hear you. So make sure you have nice, long transitions between each of your main supporting details. Then within each of your main supporting details, you have other details. those details you still need to use transitions, but you can use shorter transitions, words like next, then, after that, second, and so on.